How's it going, everyone? Larry here with the Farmstead Way, and I wanted to do a little bit of a different video. So here on the lovely homestead, there's always projects that I have to do. I don't have a lot of disposable income to hire out work, so I do a lot of stuff myself. And to do certain things around here, you have to have tools and gear to accommodate that. So today I was wanting to go over my basic EDC that I use here around the homestead and stuff that I use at work. So this changes obviously whether or not I'm going to go into town, whether I'm going to go into the city or do stuff in the country, or go to work. So generally when I do stuff around here on the homestead, I'm going to have this basic setup, and this is also the setup that I use at work. So I'm gonna start with even the crap I'm wearing. So I normally wear white t-shirts. Why do I wear white t-shirts? One, they're cheap, and they're cool, and they're white. I mean, as in cool as in keeping you cool. When you work outside, something you don't want to do is wear a lot of dark clothing because you'll burn up and you'll be miserable. White reflects the sun, and you do not want to overheat while you're outside. That's also why I wear this cowboy hat. Like I said, I am not a cowboy. I do not own any horses at this moment, but what this does is it keeps the sun off of my head because I don't have a lot of hair left, and it keeps my head from burning, keeps my face from burning, my back, my neck burning, and it is also white, so it reflects the sun. I normally just wear basic denim, and people asked about boots. I just wear basic work boots. The ones I got on right now are Carolinas, and then I sometimes will throw on a pair of cowboy boots if I don't feel like tying shoes. And depending on what I'm doing, the cowboy boots aren't, I guess, as comfortable because they aren't as tight around the ankle, but these are heavy, which sometimes is a good thing, sometimes it's not, and I try to either have composite or I prefer steel toe. There's been several times where steel toe boots have saved my butt, whether you're setting stuff on your foot or things have dropped and fallen, and it'll save your toes because you don't want your feet getting smashed. I do not own any tennis shoes because one, they're not practical for the lifestyle I have, and I like having thick rubber soles that are heavy duty because I've stepped on a lot of nails, a lot of screws, barbed wire, crap like that, and you want to have good shoes. Also, if things are on fire, you can put them out. So as far as my belt, this is made by Dennis Knight in Columbus, Ohio. I went up to Columbus and I went into this leather shop, and this dude had a bunch of super thick belts. As you can see, this is about maybe almost a 1/4 inch thick. It's heavy duty material. You need to have a good belt. I'd recommend getting good quality leather, something that's not going to delaminate and fly apart. So if we go to the right side of the belt, I always have a Leatherman. I've used this thing, hold on, used this thing more times than I can count, and I need to send this into Leatherman to have it refurbished because I've broken the tip off the blade. The wire strips are all jacked up. I'm missing half the stuff off of here, so I need to have this redone. I carry this in a Kydex sheath. This is actually a Kydex sheath for a... Hear the pig back there making noise. I carry a Kydex sheath. This is actually for a Buck 110. I just took a cigar lighter and heated it up and then jammed this down in there. And it works just great. Now, I also carry a fixed blade knife. So I used to carry pocket knives, but I don't like crap in my pockets, especially with what I do for a living, because it really sucks when you're crawling in your houses, when you're doing stuff, and when you're bent down, it's really hard to get anything out of your pocket. Once again, this is a super thick blade. One of my buddies from over in England sent me this. He had used it for like one time, and I asked some friends online, like, hey, what were some good fixed blade knives? And he's like, well, I got this, and I've only used it once, and it is awesome. And like I said, it's on my belt because when you're working on stuff, you don't have to dig in your pockets. It's nice just to be able to get it, and you have a thick sturdy knife. I also, at one point, was carrying a Buck 110, and I snapped the tip off trying to get an orifice out of an air conditioning A-coil. And I was like, nope, I want something that's pretty much a pry bar with a blade on it. And behind that, I have this little belt clip thing. So it allows you to put tape measures, different little pouches and stuff. I use this for all kinds of stuff. Especially tools and other tool pouches and other sort of things like tape measures and whatnot. And so that's really handy. Oh, if I can get this back on. All right, so if we go to here, I got a wire nut still in there. This magnet from Holstery. This thing has been a sweet, sweet tool. It allows you to attach all kinds of different tools. I think I got something heavy in here. I can dig into this thing real fast to show you. If it's not rusted shut, come on. It's probably rusted shut. There we go. So like, yeah, C-clamp. Bam, there you go. This thing will hold sledgehammers, pipe wrenches, all kinds of cool stuff. So it's nice to be like working on something, just stick it there and go back to it and like whatever. So tools, parts, that cool stuff. Then on here, I've got this little pouch. So I had a bunch of tiny little things that I wanted to carry, but I had no way of carrying them. And in here, I've thrown in stuff that I found out to be really good for work. So if we go through this, I've got field notes notebook, good for taking measurements down, writing addresses, phone numbers, and stuff like that. Just throw it on the ground here. I have a 1/4-inch bit driver because we use them all the time for work, and I keep losing them, or I let people use them on the job site, and then they lose them, and I don't have them. Carpenter's pencil. Always need that for doing any sort of lumber. A tiny Stanley Fat Max 6-foot tape measure. This thing has saved my butt more than once because a lot of times you don't want to carry a giant tape measure on you. I'll actually do a video on tape measures here in a few days if people are interested in that. So sometimes it's nice to go out and measure something really fast. So that's nice to have. If you're an electrician or any sort of metal worker, you've obviously seen these Milwaukee Sharpies. Once again, a great tool when you have to mark something and a pencil is not good enough. Like I said, my next door neighbor that I do work for, he carries these, and I bought a few and I love them. One of the other things I do not have in here is electrical tape. I cannot remember what kind I get. It's the kind that's got the yellow core in it. It's like $7 a roll, but it's really important. Another one of those things that my neighbor always carries, and you end up using it more times than you would think. For a flashlight, I like to carry a Surefire Sidekick with a plumber's O-ring in it. A little tip from Pat McNamara. It's really good. It's tiny. This thing's bright, and the plumber's O-ring allows you to use your light and allows you to flip it out of the way so you can get hands-on with stuff and then flip it back to when you need it again. What else do I got in here? 5/16 bit driver. I have a T25 bit driver that I normally don't carry with me, but it was in one of the drills and I need it for a deck project that I'm working on right now. And then lastly, I carry a tiny 1/4-inch wrench, a tiny 5/16 wrench, and a 3/8 ratcheting wrench. These are really handy, and once again, they've saved me more times than not. So that way I always have a flat Phillips, at least I try to. I used to have a flat and a Phillips bit in this, but I lost it, so I need to get a new one. But when you do HVAC like I do, hi Littles. The dog's joining me. She's probably gonna knock the camera over. What are you doing, huh? Lay down, be good. So it's good to have these. She's gonna freak out. Go down, go. It's good to have these with you. Oh great, now here's the other dog. Are you gonna knock my camera over too? No, he's gonna be a good boy today. So I carry those with me. And then, as you see, I normally carry a bandana. These things have helped me more times than not. Sweat rags, cleaning stuff off, drying stuff off. You can use it if you cut yourself as a band-aid, wiping sweat off your face, wiping mud and crap off things, getting mud off your tools. If you gotta grab something hot, you can bunch it up and grab it with stuff. I actually have one stuffed up in my hat because this hat's a little too big for me, and it's just a quick, cheap fix. Another little thing that I learned from Pat McNamara, he always has one of these rags, and you'll end up using it more times than you think. This is actually one of the more important things that I carry. Other things. So, dogs are driving me crazy. So, I have just a basic $80 G-Shock watch. I'm not a huge watch person. I know someone commented saying I need a cool pocket watch, and yes, pocket watches are cool. They're not very practical. If I wore a vest more often, then I could always pull it out and look cool, but this is very functional. They're durable. I don't care if it gets banged up and broken. Well, I would care if it gets broken, but it gets paint on it, all kinds of stuff. And as you can tell, I wear it a lot because I got a giant ring around my hand from where my arm doesn't get sun. When I'm not wearing this, I wear a leather cuff and a covered watch that I made myself. When I was growing up, I watched The Mummy Returns like on repeat, and Rick O'Connell always had a leather cuff and a covered watch, at least in the Mummy Returns movie. In The Mummy, the first one, he's just got the leather cuff, and I thought that was so cool. And you don't really see people wearing leather cuffs, so it's just kind of a unique stylistic thing. Other dumb things, I try to have a lighter on me. This is a Zippo with a butane insert, and obviously I normally have a pipe with me. So this is my cheapy Fire Dog. I've got nicer pipes, but I don't want to take them to work. This is kind of my work pipe. And then obviously my EDC changes on what I'm doing, whether or not I want to carry a big Bowie knife for if I'm going to do stuff out in the woods, which if you want me to do a knife video, I'll do that. Whether I'm carrying a firearm for concealed carry or if I'm out in the woods, it's nice to have a firearm sometimes. But as far as my general everyday work carry, this is the stuff I normally stick with. And every EDC is going to be different per their occupation, per what they are doing. Some things that I carry, you may not want to carry, but a good way to test your EDC is if you touch at least everything that you're on your person at least more than one time in a day, it's probably a good item to have. So that's my general everyday carry. If you have any comments or if you want to see anything else like knives and the like, leave a comment below, and thank you all for sticking around to the end of this video. You all take it easy.